Hi everyone, welcome to the video on Snowflake. In this video, we'll be covering the topics like warehouse, database, tables, roles and users. Firstly, we'll quickly go with the definitions and the examples of these particular topics, and later we will be going with the hands-on on fresh Snowflake account. So let's get started. What is Snowflake? Snowflake is a cloud-hosted relational database for building data warehouses. It is built on AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. It is up to the user to choose any of the above cloud platform. Snowflake supports the most common standardized version of SQL, ANSI. This means that all of the most common operations are usable within Snowflake. The operations would be create, update, insert, etc. What is a warehouse? A virtual warehouse is always referred as warehouse. It is a cluster of compute resources in Snowflake. Without warehouse, we cannot perform any of operations. Let's suppose warehouse is a resource or a memory or platform which is virtual, where you will be writing a query on a SQL editor, and once you fire the query with the help of warehouse, this query will be fired on the database, and then the records will be fetched from the database. So the intermediate thing is a warehouse. So uh, based on your requirement, you can choose warehouse from x small to x large. So that is a that depends, the size depends on the warehouse. If you want to have a better experience with the huge amount of data, you can choose the bigger one, and if you are just experimenting and do not want if you have less data, so you can choose a small one or x small one. So let's go with the database. What is database? A database is a logical grouping of schemas. Example, school. And what is schema? A schema is a logical grouping of database objects like table, views, functions, etc. Each schema belongs to a single database. Example, staff, students. So we can go with this hierarchy in the next once we complete the table definition. So what is a table? A table is a collection of rows and columns. It is like an Excel sheet, but your Excel sheet would be storing in your local or cloud account, maybe on OneDrive or somewhere else. But here the table will be storing on database, so-called schema and database. So like staff is a schema, and in staff you would be having teachers and admin staff as a tables. So students is a schema, and in students you would be having primary school students table and high school students table. So this is actually a example, but you can relate to very industry standard examples as well. But this I just wanted to explain you in order to get proper understanding of database, schema and table. So here the database would be school, and the schemas would be staff and students, and under staff you will be having a tables called teacher, admin, staff, right? So in this table you might be having teachers details, and in administration, admin staff table, you might be having admin department staff related details, so in the form of rows and columns. In students, you might be having primary school students details, like name, ID, or related to class, everything. So in a high school you might be having high school students details. So let's go with what is a role. So role are the entities to which privileges on a securable objects can be granted and revoked. Roles are assigned to the users to allow them to perform actions. Let's suppose example, we can say developer as a role. I work as a developer, and I am the user and I work as a developer. So I need to edit the code, and I need to write into the database as well. So I need read and write access to the table, right? So one of my colleague who is working as a tester, so he only needs a read access to the table so that he can read the data, query the data, and check whether all the validation has been passed. If not, he has to send it to the particular developer, like saying that this has not passed any validation, something like that. So he don't want to have any write access. So this is called privilege given to particular role, right? So the read privilege is given to the particular role called tester, and read and write privilege given to this particular role called developer. So here, what is a user? Users are the one who really use and take benefits of a database. That is, I am like that is me. I am a developer, and I have been assigned as a role as a developer. So I will be getting benefited whatever privileges given to the developer. A user can have one or more roles, like in IT industry we have one can take care of developer things, and also he can be a tech lead, he can be a manager, right? He can take multiple responsibilities. So in the same way, in databases as well, the user can have different multiple roles assigned to it. So now let's go to the hands-on part. I will let me open the Snowflake account. Just we can open again. Let's try to open the Snowflake account with this URL. For this account, this is the URL. I got it when I have done setup. So let's try to log in. I have already created a worksheet, but the Snowflake account is all of fresh. There is no roles. There are only inbuilt roles which are already created by Snowflake itself, and there is no warehouse, and even there is no database as well. So this is completely a fresh account. So let's try to create a warehouse first. There is no warehouse here, so let's try to create a warehouse. The syntax for this is create warehouse demo create warehouse, and demo warehouse is the name given to the warehouse. Let's try to create it. Yeah, warehouse demo warehouse successfully created. Let's try to minimize it, and now let's try to show the warehouses whatever present in particular in this account. See, demo warehouse started, standard type is standard. There are different kind of different, probably I think two types of warehouse are present. Some might be snow park or standard. Based on your requirement, after going through research or some kind of documentation, you can choose which type you need. So if you wanted to change this type, or during if you wanted to create it, you can have optional arguments like create warehouse demo warehouse with you can write size equals to warehouse size equals to x large or x small, something like that. So if you do not specify anything, it will create by default, it will create x small size. If you have good amount of data, huge amount of data, you can choose the bigger one. So the warehouse has been created, and yeah, you're able to see here, so that we can select this. So now we'll try to create a database. For the syntax for this is create database demo db. Let's try to fire it. Yeah, demo db, database demo db successfully created. So let's try to show, for this, show databases. Yeah, this Snowflake db is by default. Whenever we created this account, this was created, but here the db we have created is demo db, so it's fine. And let's go and do create a schema. So you can select the schema, you can select demo db over here. Like probably if I refresh, we will be able to find it here. Yeah, there are by default there are two schemas. Let's create a schema. Create schema demo schema. Yeah, so here we have demo db, and here there is no schema. Let's try to refresh it. Yeah, I'm able to see demo schema. And now if you wanted to check the schemas, you can write show schemas. Let's try to do it. Yeah, I'm able to see demo schema here. So Let's try to create a table using create table. Employees is a table name, and employee id employee name. Employee id is a column name, and int is the integer for this particular, that is called data type, and employee name is a column name, and string is the data type, phone number string, email string. So you can just fire this query so that you will be able to create the table. The table employee successfully created. Let's try to show the tables. Probably there would be one table that is called employee table. Yeah, there is one table created at particular time, so you can see the details of the table. And let's try to insert the values into the table by using this insert into employees command. Insert into employees values, this should be in specific order how the table has been created. The employee id is 1 to 1, and employee name Kiran, and phone number and email. So let's try to insert the data. Yeah, number of rows inserted 6. So there are 6 rows which we have inserted. Let's try to show the fetch the results by using select star from employees. Here star indicates selecting all the columns. If you wanted to select only employee id, you can write select employee id from employees. So if you wanted to select employee name and employee id, you can write employee id, select employee id comma employee name from employees table. So this is how you can see the results, which are 6. So let's try to select current user. I just wanted to know who is the user currently. Okay, here the user is Vinay. I have logged in with Vinay, and so the user is Vinay. So let's try to create a role. As I said earlier during the hands-on, let's try to create some role. So probably I'll be creating a role as support. Okay, I'll be creating a role as support. The syntax for this is create role support. Okay, probably this role has been exist. Let's delete it by using drop role support. Yeah, successfully dropped. So now I'll just try to create role support. Yeah, successfully created. And let's try to create a user. Create user Vikram support. The username is Vikram support, and password is abcdf, and comment, it's an option, it's an optional thing. So I just create it as customer support agent. I'll just create it. User Vikram support successfully created. Grant role support to the users. Okay, so we will try to assign. Before that, we will just try to open in private tab, so that we will be able to understand the user and the roles better, like how the privileges has been given to the role, and thereby how the roles will be assigned to the user and able to use the database and tables. Oh sorry, I just relog in. I just need to log in with Vikram support. Let's try to log in with the Vikram support. So currently it has no role, it's a public role. Generally by default it will be creating a public role. Let's try to grant a role in order to access things like database and all. So let's try to give a role and refresh it. I'll open the account at Vinay user Vinay, which is a which has account admin, and which we have done so far in this particular window. let's try to grant role support to the user Vikram support. Let's fire it. Let's try to refresh the tab. Yeah, I can see the support role. Okay, I can see the support role, and let's open a worksheet. We can refresh over here in order to see all the things. We can do it over here. So let's open the actual account and see what we can do, like grant usage on warehouse, demo warehouse. So in order to perform any kind of operations, we need to have a warehouse, right? So let's try to open this. Do we have any warehouse here? Like, yeah, there are no warehouse available for this particular user. So let's try to grant the permission of warehouse. So grant warehouse on demo warehouse to support. Like usage means like we are granting a usage, we are giving the privileges to the support role to use warehouse called demo warehouse. So statement successfully executed. Let's try to open in a private tab and check. Let's try to refresh it. Yeah, I'm able to see the demo warehouse. I'll use this, and as of now there is no database available. I'll open that account and give permissions. Yeah, grant privileges to the roles. Let's grant privileges to that particular role called support, so that a user Vikram support would be seeing the data. So grant usage on demo DB to the support role. So now I just granted usage to this database alone, so he would be only seeing the database but not schemas in this. So he would be able to see only demo DB and the default schema called information schema, but not the schema which we have created, demo schema. So let's try to give that privilege as well. Grant usage on schema, demo schema to the support. It's executed successfully, and let's try to refresh this. Yeah, I'm able to see demo schema, and if I try to open the tables, probably I couldn't see this. There are no tables available. So let's try to give permissions on the tables as well. Grant select on all tables in database demo DB to role support. Yeah, one object affected. That means one table. In database there are a lot of things like tables, views and functions. All are called objects. So let's try to open this private account so that we can access Vikram support user. So let's try to enlarge, explore these tables. Yeah, I am able to see employees table, right? We will be selecting the database demo DB, and in that we'll be selecting demo schema, and we will just try to fire a query. Probably we need to refresh it. Role, public, loading options. I think we need to refresh this. Here we need to switch the role and then open this worksheet. Okay, let's try to use role, but something happened to this, but we'll try to use role support. And try to select star from this employees table, and yeah, we are able to look at the data, we are able to read the data. So that's all for this video.